Good afternoon. Hope everyone had a great weekend and great week. Start to a new week tomorrow. So hopefully everybody's doing good. And today is February 26th. So this will be the last Sunday of Black History Month. So I've been doing like Black History Month facts in the beginning of the episode. So I'm gonna stick with that. So this isn't necessarily a fact. It's so I have this book called Acts of Faith from Iyanla Vanzant, and it's like daily medication. Daily meditations for people of color. I don't know what's going on. So sorry about that. Today is February 26th. It says, "You've been tricked, you've been had, hoodwinked, bamboozled." This is from Malcolm X. "Somebody sure pulled a fast one on you. Somebody somewhere tricked you into believing there were certain things you could not do because of who you were. Someone else told you that only certain people could do or be the very thing you wanted to be. And you were not one of those people. With the sleight of hand manipulation of facts, someone made you think you didn't have what it takes, so they took it. Somebody told you that you were slow or lazy, not good enough, or crazy. And you believe that? They tricked you into believing what they wanted you to believe. They knew who you were, and they knew you had no idea. They pulled the wool over your eyes, ran a game on you, and you fell for it. The truth is, they downright open-mouthed, bare-faced told you a lie. Now what are you gonna do? I am not falling for the same old tricks again." So that was a powerful one. Especially the part where it says, they tricked you into believing what they wanted you to believe. They knew who you were, and they knew you had no idea. I think that just stuck out to me because I feel like that's important in dating, friendships, work relationships, just anything in general. When you don't know who you are, it allows people to define you for yourself. And most of us eventually figure out who we are and are able to like reconfigure that, but it's very powerful if you can live this life on earth already knowing who you are and don't let anybody tell you who you are. It can save you it can save you heartache. It can save you from trouble. It can save you from just confusion and getting off of your path in life. I think I've said this a lot of times, but when you know who you are and where you're going, there's nobody that can throw you off. And because I believe when you know who you are and where you're going, you're constantly in communication with your higher self and God. So if you can't trust your higher self and God, then there's something off there. Like if those are who you're trusting to get you to where you need to be and to tell you where you're going and who you are, then there's nobody on this green earth that could tell you any different. And so that is very powerful, and that is important to have. And once you have that, you don't want to go back. The world that we live in is driven by ego and the world of confusion, and confusion leads to disaster. And if that's something that you're trying to avoid, then I highly suggest learning and figuring out who you are and stand on that 10 toes down, and don't let anybody tell you any different. I don't care what the situation is looking like. If you know who you are and where you're going, it doesn't matter what's in front of you. It doesn't matter what's in front of you because you already know the end result. So just keep that in mind. And that I felt like that was fitting because it was from the powerful Malcolm X, who I would really hope that anybody listening to this knows who Malcolm X is, and I wouldn't have to give a background on that. But if he's not, this is your time to definitely do some research and look it up and find out who he is. So today's episode, it's really rooted in, I listened to an episode today. Something told me to listen to this podcast that I had been listening to that I mentioned last time that I found. It's called Disciple Talk. And something that they said, which I felt was very powerful, He said, how will your faith be remembered based on the moves that you make? And I thought that was a great question, something to really think about for myself. But I'm sure other people can do the same, because yeah, I mean, you're gonna get tested. Like I say that all the time, the game is gonna test you. And I think that if you don't get tested, then you won't be able to make it to the next step. And if you really want to make it there, then you gotta be able to fight through the storm and pass the test and show that you've grown and that you've learned the lessons along the way, and that you're ready to make, not only to get to the next step, but you're ready to make better decisions for yourself, and you have more discipline of yourself to fight temptation and distractions, and that you are operating in a better mindset, right? You're operating out of love, you're operating out of peace, you're operating out of like kindness, and just thinking of how you can not only do things to benefit you, but benefit other people, and other people not just here, but your lineage, the people that come after you. And what are you really working towards, and what are you really working for, and looking to create in this world and leave behind? And so they talked about just the faith of like Abraham and Moses and some other people, and how they all got tested on multiple occasions, but they stuck. The one thing they all had in common is that they remained faithful no matter what was in front of them. And that's a very powerful thing to do. I think anybody who can remain faithful despite any type of obstacles that come their way is a very powerful person in my eyes, and to be respected. So yeah, I think I'm going to explore that just based on some things that I had saw this week that stuck out to me. So this one thing that I saw is called, I don't know what the book is. It was just something that I saw on Instagram, but it says Faith Test. In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while, if need be, you have been grieved by various trials, that the genuineness of your faith, being much more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to praise, honor, and glory at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Sometimes you will face situations that are bigger than you are, making you feel as if you have no answers or resources to continue on. Everything in you says give up, but don't do it. Friend, you're in the midst of a faith test. God isn't punishing you, and he hasn't forgotten you. Rather, he's providing an opportunity for you to grow spiritually and believe him for greater things. So make a decision to believe the Lord in spite of everything. Don't look at your circumstances or pay attention to the opinions of others. Listen to the Father. Open God's word and trust what he says. He is teaching you that Jesus really is sufficient for every need you have. There's no challenge too overwhelming or pit too deep. He can always deliver you, so expect him to prove himself faithful in this difficulty. I thought that was great because it's pretty powerful, you know. Like it says, you're going to face situations that are bigger than you. And I feel like the more faithful you are, not only in just God, but yourself, the bigger the obstacles are going to be. Is this kind of like testing your ego, like, oh, who do you think you are? You know, like you think you're gonna get through, you can get through that, but let's see if you can get through this, right? And it gets, for me, at my personal experience, the obstacles get bigger and bigger and bigger, and there will be times when you're gonna have your ego saying, give up, like let's just I don't know why are we even trying this for, because we don't even know. I think you have that slight bit of doubt where it's like, is this really gonna get better? And am I going the right way? And, you know, maybe the things have gotten bad because I'm not doing the right stuff, or I'm not going the right path. But something I learned a few years ago is like, when things are getting quote unquote bad and you're getting more obstacles, that means you're going the right way. And that means to just keep going forward. So there was something that I saw, and it said 5 uncomfortable feelings that actually indicate you are on the right path. And I saw this at a time when I really needed it, because I was feeling like I wasn't, kind of like I said, that little bit of doubt where I was like, all right, am I going the right way? Like, you know, like, yeah, it's great. I see the angel numbers and like I feel the faith in myself, and I keep talking to my higher self and meditating and seeing these things in the future, but I don't know, right? And so for me, I tend to ask God for confirmation in ways that I will be able to understand. And I don't know if, for those who may be on TikTok, there's been a thing that I've seen on TikTok of women saying things like give God a password, and this is for them strictly in terms of like their husband. And so but it could be for anything really, and it's like giving God a password, saying like, hey, this is, if you could have this person say this particular word or phrase to me to know that it's from you, and then I can move forward. And I thought that was pretty cool, because again, that could be for anything. It could be a friendship, for relationships, could be for job, anything that you are desiring in your heart and you're unsure, you want to be completely sure that this is the right way, then I think that's a good idea to have that kind of password with God. And I feel like God has, at least the stories that I had that they've been saying, is that it does come through, like when it doesn't necessarily mean it's the exact person that you're talking about, but when they've asked that question, it has happened for them. So this thing I saw was said 5 uncomfortable feelings that actually indicate you're on the right path. So these are just another way to kind of know you're actually doing the right thing, even when this is like forms of obstacles that can come. So number 1 is reliving your childhood struggles as an adult. It means you are becoming conscious of why you think and feel so you can change it. Number 2, feeling lost. This is actually a sign you are more present in life. The narrative you once had isn't reality, and that's okay. I'm going to say that one is definitely something that has been hitting me. And when I feel like that, I have to remember stuff like this. Like, okay, if you're lost, that means that you're actually going the right way, because there's no map to your future necessarily, right? It's really only in God's hands. So the universe is only the one who's the universe already knows. So it's really, if you're feeling like you're being guided somewhere, you're on the right path. So just keep going. Number 3, basically feeling lost is a positive, not necessarily a negative. Number 3, alone time. The idea of socializing and going out on the weekend now seems mundane. This means you are rethinking your life choices. This is a good one too. I think that this alone time for me has definitely helped me just be in tune with myself more and hear what I need to do more, and be able to be in tune with my intuition and hear my intuition better, not be distracted by something that I had learned is that, like, sometimes people with anxiety, we might ask the same question of a bunch of people to get opinions, because that's a little bit of you not trusting your own self to make a decision. And when you have this alone time, when you're spending more time alone and you're getting more in tune with your intuition, then you are able to trust yourself more. And when you're able to trust yourself more, you don't feel the urge to ask people their opinion. And I think it still doesn't mean that you can't ask for help, but if you have decisions to make and you're always running it by other people, that could also be detrimental to you and take you off your path, because then you kind of get into that space of, geez, like everybody gave me their opinion, but this person said A, this person said B, this person said C, this one. So now you're high, you're increasing your anxiety, because now you're like, well, I don't know, now I really don't know which one to go, when really you should have just took the time to wait and take your alone time and be in tune with your higher self and follow your intuition. So that's something that it's an uncomfortable feeling to have a lot of alone time, but it's necessary for your growth. Number 4, feeling like your dreams are collapsing right in front of you. This moment is the pathway to the reality better than you anticipated. I feel like that is definitely what's happening to me. As far as like just the idea of what I thought this year was going to be for me. And obviously it's only February, but still a lot has happened within these past 2 months. So being able to surrender and allow I look at it as like essentially my map or vision board for the 2023 to kind of be erased, and allow time to show me what on that board that I put is still going to be something that is going to come, or if it's maybe not this year, or maybe ever, right? So really allowing the universe to create and show me my vision board versus me creating my vision board. And you can still participate and express what it is that you want, but still having that open mindset to allow the vision board to be created for you. Number 5, feeling unsure of who you are. If you are experiencing insecurity and uncertainty, it's a sign that something better is coming. I like that too, because it's similar, I feel like, to the feeling lost and feeling like things are collapsing or your dreams are collapsing, because then I feel like when you feel lost and you don't know where you're going and you feel like all the dreams that you had or the ideas that you had for yourself are collapsing in front of you, then it's very much likely that you're going to feel unsure of who you are. And I feel like as adults, we're always programmed to believe that we should know who you are. I literally said that in the beginning, like, if you know who you are, then you know where you're going, right? And I think that a part of that is also having complete faith that, like I've said, I think I said it the last episode, like you can't have faith and fear. You got to pick one. And even feel like even if you feel lost or you feel like you're unsure of who you are, you still have that bit of certainty of like, it doesn't matter what's in front of me. I know that I'm a good person. I know that I have goals that I want to accomplish. I know that I just want to become whatever it is that you want to become. That little bit of, even if that's like a 10%, that's still going to be helpful to you. And that's a part of, I feel like all you need is the 10%, because then the 90% could be created, like I said, by God and just shown to you, and allow that 90% to be flow into your life. And I guarantee that 90% is way out of the realm of what you thought you wanted for yourself. It's going to be greater. So just allowing that space for your life to flow to where it needs to be is important. And although these are uncomfortable feelings, they're necessary to get you to where you want to be. And I think it's great that, when these things are happening, it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, like I'm really messing up. But then you have to be able to catch yourself and say, wait, these are things that if God is allowing this to happen, it's because I'm going on the right path. So this is time to rejoice, and this is the time to be happy, because it's giving me a chance to show that I completely trust in my higher self and what's to come. And that no matter what it's looking like, I trust my higher self to know that my higher self got my back, and my higher self is pushing me into somewhere that's going to be necessary for me. And it's going to help me to get to the things that I want, that I've been manifesting for myself. So you should be happy, and it takes the stress off of you a little bit too. So last one I'm going to read it's from this page called words _by _wild_road. Okay, on Instagram. And it says 6 reminders for the week ahead. Number 1, life isn't always about being happy. It is about moving through all of the emotions, let them come and let them go. Very important, that I've talked about before. Learning how to allow yourself to feel the emotions that come, whether that be anger or sadness, or confusion, a loss of hope. We're all human. Sometimes you get depressed too, right? And it doesn't have to be like a medical depression. It could just be like, I just feel so like I need my space right now. I'm down. Like I'm gonna be okay, but right now I just need to like allow myself to just be. And you have to, I think it's important, something that I was kind of reminded of is like, make sure that you have people in your life who respect that, right? And don't, you have to pay attention. That could be family, friends, whatever. Like, even if, for me, if someone is saying like, they seem like out of it, right? Or they seem like they're kind of just to themselves, I think that it's important to do one time to say, hey, is everything okay? Or, hey, like, you want to, just trying to see if they're going to talk about it. If they don't, respect that. Don't sit there and pry and try to like make it about you, because that's when you have already lost. You're no longer useful to that person, in my opinion. Because if I'm already feeling like, if I'm not myself, right? Or if I'm just like, I just want to like, I had a day yesterday where I just wanted to just not interact. I just wanted to just be by myself. That's it. Like, nobody calling me, nobody, none of that, right? And when I'm still getting called and still getting, like people reaching out or whatever, and then I say, you know what, like, all right, yeah, I'm chill. I'm just chilling. Like, I want to date to myself. And then you still pry on that. That's a boundary crossing, because if I already said that, then just respect it. And so I guess my point of that is like being conscious of people who respect your emotions as well, right? If someone is saying, I'm fine, I just need a day, you should leave that, right? And don't make it about you of trying to see how you can make yourself feel better because now you feel excluded or whatever the case may be. And I think that that's something that is important, because everyone doesn't have to be happy all the time. And you can't selfishly expect everyone to be happy all the time for your benefit. You have to look out, make yourself happy, really, and allow yourself to feel emotions, just like you have to allow other people to feel emotions too, in the way that they want to deal with it, not the way that you want them to deal with it to make you feel better, if that makes any sense. So number 2, there's a past version of you that is so proud of how far you've come. That's very important to remember too. Your younger self is super proud of you right now, so keep going. The next one, there's always a morning after. There was always a new day. So something always to look forward to. Today might not have been your day. I cannot talk today. Today might not have been your day, right? And you feel like maybe you didn't accomplish what you wanted to today, but there's always another day. So look forward to that and appreciate where you are right now. The next one, allow every situation to be what it is instead of what you think it should be. That is a tough one, because I think that, again, I've said this before, when you let things be, that's surrendering, and that's giving away any form of power that you think you have, even though we really don't have the power. But when you don't have the power on something, then it leaves the possibility of things to go, quote unquote, bad for you. And you may go into this feeling of like, oh, I'm not going to get what I want. But you have to remember that even when you don't get what you want, you're getting what you need, right? Because again, we can't see the future. We can't see the path of maybe the thing that you wanted was going to cause more problems than what the thing that you get that you need. And so allowing every situation to be what it is, no matter how good or bad it may look to you, and trust that you are being guided to where is safe for you. I think that's so important too, to be grateful for the times when it didn't work out. Be grateful for the times that you didn't get the job or you didn't get the relationship, because if you prayed on it, especially if you prayed on it and you still didn't get it, there is nothing to really be upset about, because if you prayed on it, then that means you believed that that prayer, A, was going to be heard, and B, that if it was for you, then you would have got it. So once you didn't get it, all you can say is thank you and keep it moving, right? So just learn to let things be what they are and appreciate it for whatever it is. Next one, I hope you know it is okay to start all over again. I think that, again, society kind of tells us we have to stake this one path, and when you got to start over, then you're viewed as you messed up, and you can't really mess up what's for you. Only way you can mess it up is that if you don't move. And if you're always making that move to try to do better and improve yourself and to stay the course and to figure out what that course is, then even if you have to start all over again, you can start all over what you started for 10 years, and you can start all over and start a new path and get it done in 2 months. There's always, sometimes when you start over, it's starting over on the better path for you. So again, don't give up faith and just look forward and look at it as a way to, again, stay the course of you trying to accomplish your goals. And if that's something that's important to you, then you won't mind starting all over again. And then the last one is always start the day slow. It is the perfect beginning for a beautiful day. I think that's an interesting one, because typically we always tend to move fast paced. At least I know up here, up north, we are a fast pacing fast-paced moving place, and it's not about taking your time, whether that be getting to work or school or whatever the case may be that you're doing. We're just fast-paced, on the go. And so having the luxury of being able to start your day slow, whether that mean like, oh, I get to get up and pray for 30 minutes or meditate for 30 minutes, or I took a long shower, or I get to work from home so I don't have to necessarily worry about my commute, or I get to, like, I know for me, when I wasn't working from home, it was hard for me to get up and cook myself breakfast and get to work on time, because I would have to get up even earlier, and I didn't really want to sacrifice my sleep like that. So it's not even things like that, just having more time for yourself to start your day slower and give yourself and your body and your mind time to wake up, right? Because even when we're sleeping and our body is resting and our mind is still going. So your mornings, if you're able to start it slower, it gives you give yourself time to really wake up and realize that it's a new day and to get into the day, and you probably make less mistakes and less stress, and you're able to see what it is that you need to get done for the day, probably in a better way, and have a better day, right? You're not starting your day off stressed. You're not starting your day off in somewhat of a frenzy, So, those are some great reminders, and I'll post those on Instagram. So, overall, hopefully this was helpful. And again, that question just stuck out to me, and it said, how will your faith be remembered based on the moves that you make? And that's something to think about, especially we're still in the beginning of the year. It's only February. So how is your faith being remembered right now, or how is your faith looking right now, and how will it be remembered? And think of it in terms of like, okay, when someone talks about your legacy, right? If you want to be a business owner, and as an entrepreneur, you're going to face many obstacles. And how will you be remembered when you reach success, whatever that may look like to you? How did your faith not only get tested, but how did you utilize your faith to maintain the course? Right. So if you wanted to be a number one podcast, and you weren't getting sales, or whatever the case may be, how did you have the faith to keep going and to accomplish your goals? It doesn't have to be called podcast. It could be anything really, but there's something that came to mind. But just think about how that is for you, and how do you want it to be, and if it's not matching, then how can you make the shift to make it look that way for you? How do you want to be remembered? You want to be remembered as someone who fought through the fire despite whatever was in front of them to accomplish their goals, and you achieved it? Or do you want to be somebody who, maybe fought through the fire, but then after a while you just kind of gave up? Or were you somebody who saw the fire and didn't even try, and you settled for the mundane, and then you were unhappy, and then you took it out on everybody else, and then you lived this mundane life, and then you felt like, by the time you got old, like you no longer can do what you need to do, right? Did you give up on yourself, essentially, right? So hopefully you don't give up on yourself, and you are willing to fight the fight. So hopefully this was helpful. Hope you have a great week. As always, I'm your host, Chanel. This is Black Hippie Lounge. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. If you haven't already, follow and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and Apple Music, Spotify, etc. Anywhere that you can catch the podcast. If you want to message me, you can, whether it be a question, shout out, whatever the case may be. I definitely appreciate those. I feel like I haven't read a shout out in a while, so if anybody wants to write a shout out, you can definitely read it out loud on the next episode. But yeah, hopefully you go into this week with faith in yourself and for your future, and surrender and allow, trust the process. Trust your process, trust yourself, and trust that it's all going to work out, and it will. As always, meditate, manifest, invest in you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel.